Hello, you guys, and welcome back to another episode slash video on this podcast slash YouTube channel. If you are new or if you are returning, welcome or welcome back. Now, if you guys are watching this podcast episode, do you see anything different? Anything at all? Okay, I feel like it's so iconic and bad bitch black women to go from a silk press on my channel straight to locks. Yes, I did start the journey. What does Sexy Red say? I'm so happy and so excited, y'all. I've been wanting locks for so long. I finally did it. I love how they came out. I'm so excited for the journey. Any other lock baddies? Comment down below. Give me tips. All that. I'll definitely be posting lock content a lot on my TikTok and on my new Instagram, alishamelann with 2 N's. You guys go follow that one because I'll be way more active on that one versus my more personal one. So go check that out. I made it in the midst of the scary TikTok days, which I still have TikTok. Thank God I didn't delete the app. If anybody else deleted the app, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, we just gonna have to roll with it. It's up in the air. Follow me on Instagram. And let's get into what we really came here to talk about today. Y'all, in this here podcast episode is very much inspired by my dad, my father, big Capricorn, okay? Why Capricorn so wise? Like, actually, it's not even just my dad. I feel like, or is it just my dad? I don't know. Comment how you feel about Capricorns below. I love them. So, a few years back when I was younger and I was in the midst of that girl, that daughter phase of when me and my mom were just not getting along, not seeing eye to eye, loved her, but didn't like her, okay? When I was in that stage, I would always confide in who else? My dad, right? And my parents are a very rare case, okay? Been together since they were 19. No breakups, no separations, no cheating, nothing. That's a long time. They're in their 50s now. They've been together longer together in life than they've been apart, which I think is so sweet, okay? Nothing's perfect. Sure, it's not very long, very hard, but they're here. They in this, okay? And I remember when I was beefing with my mom, I would confide in my dad and I would just be like, ooh, like this and that. We all have stuff about our parents that annoys us, that makes us be like, ooh, I would not be your friend if we were, you know what I'm saying? And I just remember confiding in my dad and being like, how do you deal with this silent treatment and the pettiness and the, ooh, like it just frustrated me so much when I, grew up and I started having difference in opinions and we started clashing and I started being more independent. My dad would just be so calm and be like, and I would just be like, how does this not piss you off? Like, how does it, like, you get it, right? And he's like, yeah, I get it. Like, I get it. I get it. But he's like, the reason none of that stuff surprises me, none of that stuff gets to me is like, because I accept her for who she is. He's like, I accept her. He's like, she's so predictable. Nothing she does surprises me. I've been with her for over 30 years, girl. He's like, I've already accepted this is how she acts when she's mad. This is how she acts when she's sad. This is what she's gonna do. Then she gonna act differently. He's like, I've accepted and I fully read her. And like, that's the whole key. If I didn't accept her for all this, the good and bad, he's like, I wouldn't be with her. But I'm here. And I remember that really had me, because I was just like, that's to me, that's crazy. Like in the sense stance in that relationship, the part of the relationship we were in, I was like, how this cannot piss someone off, how this cannot drive someone insane like it's driving me insane. And he's just like, bro, I accept her. She's predictable. I know this is gonna happen. I know she gonna get over it eventually. I know he's like, that's what you have to do. He's like, if you want to be with someone, you need to accept them for like the good and the bad. Like, or if not, you shouldn't be with them. And y'all, I remember when my dad first used to talk like this, I thought it was really smart, but also when I was in poor relationships, I used to run with it. I took it the completely wrong way, okay? Because my last relationship before the one I'm in now, if you're not new to this channel or podcast, was abusive. And I used to, although I know my dad was never telling me this, he didn't even know the full story of what type of relationship I was in. He was just trying to drop game, help me out. And I used to take this and run with this when I was in abuse. I was like, yeah, like, well, I really love him and he does all this crazy and he's abusive, but like, I love him, so I'm going to accept it because I want to be with him. That is how I misinterpreted the out of that information. And it's like, girl, I'm here to talk about this and I'm here to talk about my own journey because I feel like it's really important to prevent someone from being in the position that I was in and taking the advice that way. Because I think this advice is gold. It's perfect. It is long lasting love advice. But it's like I took that and ran with it for the wrong person, thinking like, okay, you can accept anything to an extent if you love someone, which is not true at all. And I think a lot of us find ourselves in that place. And now that I'm in a healthy, better relationship, I see this advice in a whole new meaning. Okay. I took that advice when I was also under a lot of pressure, a lot of abuse and manipulation as like, well, like I love him, so I'm just like gonna deal with it. Like I thought I'm like, I can accept this because I love him so much and blah, blah, blah. That don't apply to abuse. To anybody watching this, this does not apply to abuse. When you're in a relationship, of course, I hate when people try to act like relationships are perfect. Oh, this person is just so perfect to me. I know you can name 10 things about them that you don't like. Like, and it's just like, that's what I learned, especially in being in young relationships when I thought things would be easier than they were. I really like, I don't know, just the dream they sell on social media and people being so private. I was like, what? Like, they find me annoying? Blah, blah, blah. Like, there are so many things that are going to annoy you. Someone's temper, someone's impatience, someone, is stubborn, there's gonna be 10 things you don't like about that person. I can name about my man right now. He can name it right back. So don't play. So it's like now that I'm taking that advice in a better relationship versus the one I was in, I interpret what my dad said completely different, right? So I feel like what he really meant is like you have to accept the person to the point of like where yeah, it takes some getting used to. My relationship's still very new. We've only been together for a couple months. Um versus, years of relationship. But of course, like you're not always going to get used to things right off the bat. Some some stuff might annoy you cuz it's still new or you're still getting used to this person, right? But I feel like what he meant is like deal with what you know you can accept and what you think you can manage with your tolerance. Okay, abuse is not tolerable, which is like what I didn't get when I was 19 hearing this advice, right? It's like I'm gonna give an example. Girl, if you're with a guy, if you're with a guy who thinks it's appropriate to like big booty Instagram model pictures and follow all those types of girls and oh like that's just how I am and that's what I'm gonna do. Like I'm not gonna cheat, but like who just likes being lustful and thinks that's okay. Okay? And you really don't like it. It messes with your confidence, it messes with just how you feel. Like it just bothers you. This is why I hate women or people attacking women for certain standards because at the end of the day, if something bothers you, it bothers you. And I completely am 100% with the if you don't do it, someone else will. I've learned that. There's always someone who will, baby. There's always someone better suited for you. Okay. So I feel like some girls might take this advice, well, like, oh, well, I really love him, so I'll just accept that he does that even though it hurts you and it drives you insane mentally and it makes you overthink. Nah, nah. I feel like the point of this advice is you don't have to deal with that makes you uncomfortable. You don't have to deal with that hurts your feelings. Okay, but it's like there's not going to be any relationships without pain, without hurt, without emotions, without, annoyance, okay? You guys are always gonna hurt each other. And I don't like, y'all get what I mean. I don't mean the real pain. I don't mean abuse. I don't mean cheating. You're gonna hurt your partner's gonna be mean sometimes. You're gonna be mean sometimes. You guys are both gonna be rude to each other sometimes. You guys are both gonna be annoyed. Things are gonna happen and things might affect you and make you take it out on your partner, which is not right. Like we go through phases of obviously when we're not always happy, and sometimes it's more comfortable to accidentally take it out on the person closest to you, right? But something straight up constant that bothers you, hurts you to a specific point that someone is not even willing to change, they don't care because it's just what they want to do. Oh, baby, they gotta go. They gotta go. To any women, to any men, to any whatever, you don't gotta accept that makes you uncomfortable, that makes you overthink, that you wouldn't do to someone else. That I feel like a lot of you girls have lost the plot of the golden rule. What happened to elementary school when they said treat others how you want to be treated? Okay. Bet you how many of those guys who like to lust on Instagram and lust after Instagram models wouldn't want you following a bunch of shirtless men and P stars and all that. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Like what actually happened to the golden rule? I feel like it especially applies in relationships. Okay. And so what I always found so interesting, especially the part of advice that my dad told me, was when he was just saying like that my mother is so predictable to him and nothing shocks him because he's already accepted the cycle, what she's like, blah 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 blah. I think that is a very hard part of forming new relationships that I've been through, is again figuring out what you want to accept and all that, right? Because I'm a very emotional bitch. Okay, if you guys know me, if you even watch my story, you know like I'm a Scorpio. I'm gonna cuss you out and then cry myself to sleep after. The constellation right here. Right, I'm that type of girl. Always gonna stick up for myself, but very emotional, very sensitive. Okay? Like all of us have the capability of being, but some more than the others. In my relationship, I'm more than the other. Y'all, y'all ever deal with a person where like they swear they're not as sensitive, but then when it really comes down to it, it's like, boy, you basically are as sensitive as me, but you just don't think you are because about different stuff. That's how I feel about you. Yeah, yeah. If you're watching this is for you. Just kidding. No, I'm not. Hey, I love you. You're everything. Okay, I've learned in my relationship as a sensitive girl, one thing that is hard for me is dating someone who is impatient and who has a temper. Okay, if you watch my TikTok, I'll be talking about my man. He is a youngest boy with a bunch of older sisters. He's sister coded. How many of y'all ever dated a guy where sometimes when you argue, it's, bitch, I feel like I'm arguing with my sister. Why do you know what to say? Why are you so catty? Like, boy, stop. That's my man. He's sister coded. It just began like that, right? And also, I consider, and I've had almost every other partner tell me that I'm impatient. So it's kind of crazy that I feel like I'm with someone more impatient with me. Okay. Those are two things I do not appreciate about my man. And he already knows this, right? But we all have emotions. And before y'all say anything again, when it comes to accepting something, I'm never talking about, when I say losing a temper, the type of losing a temper of someone who would hit you or someone who's going to call you out your name, B word this, B word that. That ain't what I'm talking about, okay? That ain't what I'm talking about. Almost every time those things come up, the impatience or the temper, I just feel myself getting so emotional and just being like, "Oh my god, like we're arguing and like he's being rude and like y'all know, girls, you know how like it doesn't feel good." Well, actually anyone when you argue with your partner, it doesn't feel good. Like it feels like for some people, me, it feels like the world is crumbling down. Like, wait, like, oh my god, they hate me. When that's not the case. And I might feel like this again in the future. But again, when it comes to that acceptance part, I've learned where I'm just like, you know what? Sometimes in relationships, we also have to acknowledge the roles we play. Okay. It is very hard to take accountability and back and forth when you guys are both in the heat of the moment. I've learned so much from, honestly, I think in this relationship, I'm more of an anxious and my man is, I don't want to say necessarily avoidant, but it's like when it comes to arguments, you know how there's a lot of people. So one person likes to figure this out right now. One person is like, give me a second, then we can come back. I'm the girl. We figuring this out right now. What you talking about? He's the I'm pissed off. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to say something I don't mean. Baby, give me a second so I can come back to you calmer and we can actually make it better. Okay, I'm a person who tries to fight that, which I've learned is not very healthy because I understand that a lot of times in the heat of the moment, and I feel like other people can relate to this, like you really just want to figure things out. You want things to be okay. Um, but I'm like, when I'm fighting against what someone else needs, when someone needs a second so that they can come back and they can give me the type of conversation I need, and also emotions can lower, which is like very smart. Even my therapist has talked about this. I'm like, when I'm fighting against someone else's boundary of like, I need space, you need to leave me alone, you need to let me calm down so it can be better. I'm like, that's not very healthy because I always want people to respect my boundaries, but I'm not respecting someone else's boundary. And I 100% can see where it comes from. If you're not new to the channel, I talk about having like growing up with, I think, an avoidant and like emotionally immature mother, like the silent treatment as punishment. The like, you know what I'm saying. I was also in an emotionally abusive relationship where it's like withdrawing love, withdrawing care when you're upset. So sometimes to me, to a person anxious in the moment, that can feel like suffocating. Like, you need a moment, but I need to fix it now. And it's okay to feel like that, but I feel like as sensitive people, we have to pick our battles. We got to ground ourselves for the better. You know what I'm saying? And it's always like, whenever my man does need these moments, even though maybe he's not a soft tone as I would like, it is nowhere near what I dealt with growing up or what I dealt with in my abusive relationship. It is still, I love you, I care about you, but you need to give me some space. It's not, never, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, y'all, healing is so hard. Like what they really say about how you can only heal so much alone until you get in relationships and you get triggered and stuff. It's the real tea. I told you, I figured out I'm the problem sometimes. And yeah, so I feel like that personal example for my relationship is an example of like acceptance, because it's just like, I'm not going to accept someone being rude, losing their temper all the time, just being like flat out mean to me all the time, all the time, all the time. Not going to accept that, never going to accept that. My man already knows that. Okay, we have our moments. We're different people. We're different on different wavelengths. Okay, in our healing journeys. And as always, it's something that he's willing to work on, something he has worked on, something that's gotten better. But like I said, I also realize the parts I play, and I'm like, oh girl, like you gotta change things too. So it's like I gotta learn. This is who I'm dating. This is where he's at in his healing journey. This is where he wants to go. This is where he was working towards. Versus if you just had someone with bad temper, impatient, who was just mean and was just like, I don't give a, like, I'm not going to change that. I don't need to. This is just how I am. Deal with it. If I was dating someone like that, you gotta go. I just feel like it's all about balance, you know? I feel like when it comes to dating, the more relationships I'm in and the older I get, I just realize how it's really a cycle, y'all. It's like when you first get together, you think you guys are so similar. Like, why is that a thing, y'all? Because when me and my man first started dating, I thought we were so similar. And now we're months in, I'm like, boy, we're not similar at all. We're not similar at all. I mean, what matters, I feel like, is similar morals. Okay. We're both very pro black in this. Okay. We're both very pro LGBTQ in this. Both very pro choice. Anti patriarchy, no misogyny over here, right? Similar morals, similar ways, similar paths matter. But when it comes to personality, when it comes to healing, traumas, all that is going to work itself out, or it won't. In this case, it will, though. You ain't going nowhere. I hope. I feel like it's a cycle of new and feeling so similar and feeling so, and then it's the cycle of feeling triggered, realizing your differences, blah, blah, blah. Then it's the cycle of working through it, repeat. Like, I feel like that is literally how relationships are. They come in phases. And yeah, I just feel like this is my third serious relationship, fourth in my life. I don't really count the 3-month high school. But yeah, to any of my advice to any young people dating or anyone in general who's just healing and dating, take my dad's advice and look at the material. Look at the, don't just look at the material, also look at the tools. Do they have the tools to be the person I need? Do they have are they constantly showing up as not just changing overnight, but working towards it? You know, if it is something that you don't fully want, or is it something that you accept but you expect progress in? And yeah, I just feel like what my dad said, if you're down with this person, whatever annoys you, whatever you off, whatever you don't like, it's just like, do you love them for their good parts and their bad parts, or are their bad parts too much? And I think whether you feel the first way or you feel the second way, both of those are totally okay. Because life is too short, y'all. We deserve to be loved fully, loved softly, with exactly what we want, who we want to be, and also we also owe it to ourselves to look inward too, realize what we need to change, what we need to do to be better for ourselves and for said relationship. I just think it all matters and it's all about balance. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching slash listening today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I said something helpful, straight from the brain, straight from the heart. Um, yeah, I just hope there was some kind of good takeaway. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this video slash channel. And like I said, y'all, please check out my new Instagram where I'm very much way more active. And yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen with TikTok. But we know YouTube will always be here. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching slash listening, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.